a lot of sound as I'm driving, a lot of back noise, I mean, as I'm driving, but hopefully you can hear me. What do you do when you get stuck in the area? Now, normally when I pick a load out from the load board, or a couple of loads, I try to connect them. I try to figure out how I can get from one place to the other. I always look to see if there's Lyft. I always look to see if there's Uber. I also look to see if there's Greyhound, if there's any shuttle buses, if there's Amtrak. You know, how can I get out? Because I don't have a tow car. Now, some people have tow cars. And if you don't know what a tow car is basically a car that you have hitched up, like your car, that you would have hitched up to a load that you're taking, like a truck or something. Like the other day, I had an MV607 International. Well, someone else had that, and they hooked up a tow car to it. So a tow car is a great way to help you get out of an area, if you know, so you don't need to look for, you don't need to look for a transportation. So you can just use your tow car to get out of an area. So it also helps you deliver into areas that really don't get deliveries, you know, and they have a hard time getting drivers to go into that area, because there are a lot of drivers that don't have tow cars. You know, they use, you know, different routes of transportation. But what happens, different means of transportation, but what happens when you get stuck in an area? So what happened the other day was I was delivering to De Pere, Wisconsin. I think I'm saying it right. De Pere, Wisconsin. And I had to make this train. I had to be there at 2:24. And what ended up happening was the person that was supposed to sign for the truck and inspect the truck that I delivered was like 2 hours late. So I missed my train because of this person. And it was only one train, because I called Amtrak to try and figure out, was there another train? There was no other train. I was like, well, where's the closest station? Maybe I could Uber to the closest station. And they told me basically that train left for the day as well. So I was kind of stuck because there was no Greyhound in that area. They only had an Amtrak. And I was like, I didn't want to pay a gajillion dollars for an Uber. And I had to get from there to the airport. So I was like, okay, this is going to be so much fun. How can I get out? What can I do? What can I do? And so, I'm sorry. I said De Pere, Wisconsin. I'm sorry. That was Cleburne, Texas. That lets you know how many places I've delivered to. That was Cleburne, Texas. Sorry. So in Cleburne, Texas, De Pere that's another story. But De Pere had its own little issue, but I was able to quickly solve that one. But Cleburne only had one train track. So I'm sorry, not Wisconsin. This is Cleburne, Texas. So, and I had to get to Laredo, Texas, so that I could pick up my next load at the truck mover stop. And so what ended up happening was, as I'm just constantly looking through like different options, trying to figure out if there's shuttle buses. I'm trying to call people who sometimes do shuttle runs in their own personal car, you know, from like the little groups that I'm in. I'm like trying to figure searching, honey. I'm looking. And long story short, I had called my sister. My sister was like, Takita, why don't you just fly in? So I looked at the prices from Cleburne to Laredo. I was like, I'm not going to pay $500 for a ticket. That's not going to happen. I don't know why that is so expensive, but that's ridiculous. So I flew so I ended up taking an Uber to Dallas, which was about 40-something minutes, 45 minutes maybe. And of course there's traffic, so if you know anything about Texas, certain parts of Texas, oh honey, there is traffic. And so I ended up taking a flight from Spirit. I got it for, which is kind of cool. If no one ever told you, you need to go up to the counter instead of buying it online. A lot of times you can get it cheaper. So I went up to the counter, got my ticket to San Antonio. The flight was like only like an hour and 20 minutes. Flew from Fort Worth, Dallas International Airport to San Antonio. And then from San Antonio, I spent the night at a hotel because it was too late for me to take the Greyhound to Laredo, but ended up taking the Greyhound to Laredo. And then there's a spot where on the Greyhound where they take you right in front of the truck movers depot where we pick up our trucks from. So I was like, that it drops you literally right off at the front door. So I spent more money than what I was planning on, but sometimes you have to do that. So just know, I just want you to be prepared, especially as a new driver. The whole purpose of this video is so that you can understand that stuff happens. I got there early enough for that man to inspect the truck. Unfortunately, he got held up, which held up my travel. And unfortunately, everything, it cost me money because of what he did. And a lot of these companies, Driveaway, quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes here, you can't see me, but a lot of these companies, they want to treat you like an employee sometimes and then treat you like a 1099 person other times. We want you to check in every 5 seconds, but then, when it's time for them, they need to actually pay because their client cost me money. Or travel arrangements, a lot of them don't actually want to pay. But you want to act like I'm an employee, but then all of a sudden now I'm an independent contractor when it comes to money. So just be aware of that. Be aware that sometimes you can plan it out to a T. And something will go awry, and that happens. I had one person say to me when I talked to them, they were like, why didn't you just have them leave the paperwork and they could just email it to you and then you could just email it or print it out somewhere? And I said, this is the problem. Something happens to that truck before they sign for it. I don't know. Only God knows. A child comes playing in a lot. Some people, they have kids unruly, and they throw a rock at the truck, or something happens, or another truck, drives by and just so happened cracks the windshield. That actually did happen to me in my own personal car. The truck drove right by me and literally it cracked my windshield. A rock flew up and cracked my windshield. Something happens. What happens is that they don't have to sign it, and they could say that you damaged the truck or you delivered the truck damaged, and then you don't get paid for that because you get paid for delivery. And so now that comes out of your bond if you have a bond with your company. So now there's extra money coming out of your check. If you've already paid your bond, imagine now they've taken money out of the bond to quote unquote fix the window or the windshield or whatever they're saying. And then now you got more money coming out of your settlement when you get paid. There's a lot that goes with that. So I wasn't going to do that. But again, it ended up costing me. Now I was able to, Amtrak was really nice. They did refund me my money. It was a couple of days later I got it, but I did get it. And then I was able to, like I said, get a flight out from Dallas. I flew into San Antonio, got an Uber. I had to Uber. So Uber was an extra cost, and the hotel was an extra cost, plus the flight. So now you're looking at an extra $250 that, truthfully, I didn't really budget for. I had a certain budget that I used, but I didn't really budget for that. So just know that stuff happens. I'm going to end this video, but I just want you to know that stuff happens, and you need to be prepared. This is why I like to tell people before you start Driveaway, you should probably have a couple $100. You don't need like $1 billion, but But I will tell you, you need at least $300 before getting on that road. I mean, if you're like, hey, I only got $50 to my name, you better pray everything goes well. You better pray that every I is dotted and every T is crossed. But other than that, I'm just gonna say, look, I love driving. I love being out in the open. I love being, looking at the fields and being out here. It's so beautiful. Not being, in a building where you're cramped up. You're outside and enjoying life, enjoying, the outdoors. So, anywho, and you got to be careful of people driving, because they definitely are always in a rush, and they don't always pay attention. So, anywho, but I still enjoy the outdoors. I enjoy that I don't have like a supervisor over me, or I'm doing like a Zoom meeting that could have been just an email. Like, this could have been an email. Don't play with me. So, anywho, I hope you guys have a great day. Make sure you share and like this video. And if you know of any shuttle buses or any other apps that just as new drivers can use to get around, or even say, hey, if you're stuck in this area, call Shelly. She has her own little service. Check her on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Yeah, drop that down in the comments, please. I really, my goal for this channel is to grow it, but to help the new drivers. I mean, I have experienced a lot doing Driveaway. Literally my first 2 weeks. My first 2 weeks, one of my good friends, she said, Takita, you had a crash course in Driveaway. What took me over a year to get, you got in like 2 weeks. I mean, it was like everything that could happen seemed to just start happening. I was like, hold on, Jesus, hold on, like shut some of this down now. This is a lot. I mean, got stranded. I had to call roadside assistance. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot. So that information I want to pass on, so that you are well versed or well learned in this area, so you know what you're getting into and you know how to handle it. So, anywho, I hope you guys have a great day. I'm gonna finish driving. I'm headed to Wisconsin again, but not DePed, but Appleton, Wisconsin. So, anywho, by the time you see this, I'll probably have another load. But have a great day. Don't forget to, again, like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.